Even those familiar with the long and shameful history of America's appeasement of Israel were taken aback by the Obama administration's extraordinary offer to Netanyahu.
So Israel stands to get 20 stealth jets at great expense for only a 3-month freeze on building settlements that are considered illegal under international law. Now, isn't there something morally suspect here?
Yet Secretary of State Hillary Clinton reportedly gave up to 8 hours with Netanyahu, trying to persuade him to accept one of the most generous bribes ever bestowed by the United States on any foreign power. Praising the Israeli Prime Minister for eventually agreeing to put the offer to his security cabinet, President Obama took it as a signal that he is serious. But is there any reason to believe that Netanyahu is any more serious about consenting to the creation of a viable Palestinian state today than he was in 2001? In a video aired on Israel's Channel 10 this summer, Netanyahu was seen during the Second Intifada bragging to West Bank settlers about how he had sabotaged the Oslo Accords. "I'm going to interpret the Accords in such a way that would allow me to put an end to this galloping forward to the 67 borders," he told them. In that secretly filmed conversation, Netanyahu also revealed his dismissive attitude towards the United States. "I know what America is," he said. "America is a thing you can move very easily. Move it in the right direction. They won't get in the way." And there is good reason for the Israeli leader's arrogance.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to yield 2.5 minutes to the chairman of the Middle East and South Asia Subcommittee, someone who has been very focused on this issue, the gentleman from New York, Mr. Ackerman.
In a pre-midterm election interview with the Jewish Daily Forward, Congressman Gary Ackerman stressed that Israel's best bet for addressing any concerns about Obama's policy was for the Democrats to retain power. As evidence of their pro-Israel influence, Ackerman and other Jewish Democrats cited the forceful criticisms they conveyed to the White House when they thought that Obama was leaning too hard on Israel. Ackerman, who chaired the subcommittee on the Middle East and South Asia of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, said that if Israel wanted positive influence on the White House, it needed what he called the first-class team of Howard Berman, Barney Frank, Henry Waxman, Sander Levine, and himself to continue chairing key House committees because we are all pro-Israel and we all have major influence in the executive branch.
It's all change on Capitol Hill. Republicans seize control of the House of Representatives, winning the election by the biggest margin in more than 60 years, and won some seats in the U.S. Senate, but not control.
The Republicans' subsequent gains in these midterms, however, are only likely to boost Netanyahu's confidence in his ability to move America in the right direction. On the eve of his November 11 meeting with Hillary Clinton, the Israeli Prime Minister had what had been described as unusual, if not unheard of, read illegal, one-on-one meeting with the incoming House Majority Leader Eric Cantor. According to Cantor's office, the congressman assured Netanyahu that the new Republican majority will serve as a check on the administration. It wouldn't be the first time that Cantor, set to become the highest ever ranking Jewish member of Congress, has attempted to undermine official U.S. policy on Israel's behalf.
Earlier this week, PJTV caught up with Republican Whip Eric Cantor in Israel, where he led a delegation of Republican colleagues to see and learn about the region firsthand.
We are here, first and foremost, to reconfirm the message that the U.S. Congress stands staunchly on the side of Israel in its struggle, and we are here to figure out how to strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship.
Last year, while leading a delegation of 25 Republican congressmen to Israel, Cantor publicly criticized the Obama administration for interfering in such internal Israeli matters as the eviction of Palestinian families from their East Jerusalem homes and the ongoing 43-year Jewish colonization of the West Bank. Given who has been shaping Obama's Middle East policy, his administration may not require that much checking, though.
Vince Lombardi has said that leaders are not born, they are made. They are made just like anything else, through hard work.
Since 2002, he has been advised by Lee Rosenberg, a key member of a close-knit network of Chicago Jews who, in the words of the Chicago Tribune, nurtured and enabled Obama's political career. According to Rosenberg, the then U.S. Senate hopeful reached out to the jazz recording industry entrepreneur and venture capitalist to learn more about the issues affecting Israel and the Middle East and the U.S.-Israel relationship. Later, when Obama's Chicago backers made it clear to him that Israel was an issue he had to get educated on, Rosenberg accompanied the then-senator on his first trip to Israel, where he learned an appreciation of the security needs. A long-time board member and current president of AIPAC, Rosenberg also introduced the presidential candidate at the pro-Israel lobby's 2008 conference, when Obama, in contradiction of international law, vowed that Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel and it must remain undivided. Dennis Ross, one of the principal authors of that speech, is also the originator of the incentive package. Having convinced Obama of the need to come off as friendlier to Netanyahu, the president's current top advisor in the Middle East worked closely with Ehud Barak and Yitzhak Molo, Netanyahu's advisor, on preparing the original proposal, which Netanyahu subsequently rejected. Ross, dubbed Israel's lawyer for his over-solicitousness to Tel Aviv's interests as President Clinton's chief negotiator, was accused by an American government official earlier this year of being far more sensitive to Netanyahu's coalition politics than to U.S. interests. A fellow at the AIPAC-sponsored think tank, the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, he also served, until his government appointment, as founding chairman of the Jerusalem-based Jewish People Policy Planning Institute, which views intermarriage with non-Jews as an insidious challenge. On hearing that Ross had joined Obama's team, one Chicago-based pro-Israel activist commented, "Now we have no concerns whatsoever." And yet there are some who believe that Obama is anti-Israel.